Emails prove Karen Bass, mayor of LA, office knew of critical fire risk before LA mayor skipped off to Africa. Not a good look. And Nicole Shanahan and a bunch of other guys are getting involved in this one here. So let me read the story. Rob, is that a clip you got there?
So I have the fire chief who was fired by Karen Bass talking about Karen Bass being warned about the fires beforehand.
So that's the clip from here.
And then I also have a few clips of the recall efforts.
You're the man. Play that clip first. Let's look at that clip. So this is the former LA Fire Department chief that got fired by the mayor. Go for it.
It is also a false allegation that we failed to notify the mayor's office about the upcoming weather event. I stand by our previous statements about this. The LAFD engaged in all of its standard communications, including emailing 2 separate media advisories, conducting multiple live and recorded media interviews about the predicted extreme weather and fire danger, and also notifying city officials about the upcoming weather events. The Emergency Management Department also plays a key role in notifying the mayor's office and city officials. And the mayor's office itself also sent out multiple media messages prior to the fire's warnings.
Okay, so that's not good, right? What else do you have, Rob, outside of that?
So I have a news report of the recall, if you want to play that, or I have a promo video that the recall effort has put out.
By Nicole Shanahan?
Yes.
Okay, go for it.
This has the potential for 200 plus acres in the next 20 minutes. We have a potential for structures being threatened in the next 20 minutes.
She put this together? Wow.
Crews trying to contain those massive Los Angeles wildfires.
At least 24 people have tragically been killed. When the fires broke out, LA Mayor Karen Bass was in Africa.
We know that there was warnings about the weather before you went.
When she returned, instead of answering critical questions from reporters, she chose to just ignore those questions and stay silent.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster?
We'll accept on blame, right? So at the LA Times, we endorse Karen Bass. That's a mistake, and we admit
Owner
that.
of LA Times.
There are calls for Karen Bass to resign, and those calls are getting louder.
Damn. Rob, that's by Nicole Shanahan?
That is by the organization leading the recall, which she has supported. I'm not sure if she directly had anything to do with this video.
Could be funding, could be money. She's got money. Tom, your thoughts?
Well, first of all, Karen Bass and Deputy Mayor Zach Seidel, have been caught here. And this recall effort, you're going to see more ads and more things that are showing that, oh, I was never informed. And they're playing this ticky-tack game. You know, it's like, Dad, you didn't tell me I had to go to bed at 8:30 tonight. Well, wait a minute. You go to bed at 8:15. You have to read books, lights out at 8:30 every night. But you didn't say it tonight. That is the kind of game that is getting played here. But guess what's coming out? What's coming out is emails that say, whoops, there is emails from the Emergency Management Department, EMD, that were warning him. And then Seidel gets caught because he said, well, I saw tentative. The tentative was in the time for the phone call to take place. It said tentative 8:30. And so he's saying, well, I thought the whole thing was tentative. No, it wasn't a tentative warning. The time was tentative. So they are trying to play games with everything, and it got deeper over the last week and a half. It's gotten much deeper, where people can see two things happened. Number one, the mayor's office, Deputy Mayor Seidel and Karen Bass knew about it. They knew it was coming, and warnings had been received by them. The warnings got worse only 20 hours into her trip. So 20 hours into the trip, it's like, hey, man, they just escalated this. And so that's coming out. The last part that's coming out is that it turns out that the fire chief worked really hard to do this and that, and there was previous policies. Now, was the fire chief innocent? No. But was the fire chief made the fall girl here? Absolutely. And that's what's worse. So now part of the recall effort is going to be the previously employed fire chief, and you're going to see her interviewed. So here's my if the Angelinos will look at everything that's in front of them and ignore their political biases and listen to people like Sun, who owns the LA Times, and be objective about this, Karen Bass should get recalled. They need about 315,000. They need 15% of registered voters on a petition, basically a recommendation petition, and they've got 6,000 so far. They need 315, but it just started. So as soon as they have that, then it will go to recall. But will the voters of LA come out and step aside from their political viewpoints and look at this objectively?
No, I actually don't.
So let me ask you this. So
that's my if.
Yeah. So here's the question. The recall for Newsom was what, 57-43, some number like that?
It might even been more than that.
No, I think it was, and then it dropped lower. What did it end up being? Percentage-wise? I may be wrong. I don't know why I remember.
I remember he had 60-something%.
I remember it was 64, and then it dropped to like a lower. There you go, 62-38. Okay.
Yeah.
So 62-38 is what the recall was, but that's when? 21.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what? COVID, like almost COVID, middle of it. This is after fires. This is LA. This is legit LA taking place.
Driving by it every day right
That's
now.
right. Do you think it's a different recall because it's specific to a city instead of a state?
I believe it is, and I still say if the voters will look around and look at this evidence, this should be a fairly straightforward recall.
I wish it was that was the case, but look who we're talking about. We're talking about people in California that are freaking brainwashed with Stockholm syndrome. It's not going to change. And going to this story, Karen Bass, knowing the fires were coming, okay, but conveniently leaving the country is like, you ever watch those shows where the wife hires a hitman to take out the husband, but they just happen to be on vacation when it all goes down? That's plausible deniability. That's her leaving, and that's why she had that.
Gets it.
Yeah, thank you. And that's why she had that face while she's questioning. You know what you did. I don't know the motive of why would you not want to be there when you knew it was coming. Why not try to prevent it? But yeah, guys. As much as I want to say, I hope, because all my family, Pat's in California. I mean, they don't vote with stuff like this, but it's not going to change. These people, you're not going to change. They're not going to vote any of these people out. Not her, not Newsom, never.
I think that people really don't understand how brainwashed people in these places are.
Thank you.
Like you do not understand. I lived in New York for over a decade, probably for about 15 years. These people are so locked into their ideological agenda that they will not move away from it. And by the way, Karen Bass is a black woman, and that is God to Democrats. Yeah. And anybody that is criticizing a black woman or will literally say this is what you should have done, that was not done, automatically they're going to be put as racist or they hate black women, etc. And number one, do not think that they're not going to play that card, because that is the first card that they're going to go to when people actually start criticizing her. There was a couple of these Hollywood actresses, black women, that were in something or other, and I remember started seeing them do a lot of social media stuff about how everybody's being so racist and so mean to Karen Bass. I was like, oh, so they're getting paid, and there's going to be a lot more money spread around to a lot of these black entertainment figures in LA to stand for quote unquote Karen Bass, right?
Adam.
I think this broad is finished. I mean, are you kidding me? I think the day that she showed up and from Ghana for the inauguration of the president, and she said nothing. Like watching the movie, like Silence of the Bass, like she looks so stupid, dumb, uninformed, unequipped. Just, you got nothing to say. At least Gavin Newsom will put some spin and some slickness and some hair gel and kind of spin it and at least give you the impression like, maybe he's got something. This was such a disaster. And if you ask me, like, who's the mayor of LA? I'm like, I don't know. I know exactly who this lady is now. She's the lady that landed from Ghana when her city was burnt on fire and had nothing to say. That's what I know about her. And I think the people of the city, as brainwashed as they are and as much as they have Trump derangement syndrome, who she ran against was Rick Caruso. She only beat him by a little bit. And if you're judging, some COVID lockdown masks in 2020 versus your city burnt down, bro, I'm assuming that she's going to be a goner and she deserves everything she gets.
By the way, again, it's concentrated, Vinny. That's the difference. She barely, look at that, 54.8 to 45.2 by, say, 89,000 votes, which is a good amount of votes because it's 420 to 509. But it's concentrated LA. So the problem was like this with Newsom. So not everybody was feeling the pain. The problem is like this for her.
Yeah.
Everybody within the city feels the pain. It's more concentrated. And a lot of Hollywood people are done with her and they want Caruso. Like literally people want Caruso on the left.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
want
really?
Caruso. Oh, yeah.
When's this going down, Pat? When's the actual?
Well, we're going to see. I don't know. I'm sure we're going to be seeing
Step
more
one,
and more if it happens.
They need 315,000 signatures, and we can check into that every day.
So, couple things. For those of you that are watching the podcast now, if you go download Minnect, the app, and you join PBD Podcast Circles, if you join the circle, what you get a chance to do, it's $50 a month. But everybody throughout the month gets to communicate together. Here's what we're going to be doing. All the notes that we look at, the way we write out the news and our research team is all in there. So if you go right now and join the circle, you're going to see all these notes in there. On top of that, you guys get to communicate with each other all day long throughout the day, throughout the month. When stories happen, everybody posts there. We get to ask you what are some issues you want us to talk about on the podcast. And last but not least, after the podcast, we do a behind the scenes, what our takeaway was. We'll do it sometimes with some interviews, other things that we're doing. But go download the app, Minnect. Rob, if you can put up the QR code up there. If you can download the app and get that QR code, go to Minnect, download the app, go to Circles PBD Podcast, join the circle, see the notes, and then we'll be able to interact throughout the month. We're excited about. There's going to be a lot of unique surprises with Circle. Stay tuned. Big news for all of us. After a year and a half of trying to get permits of this city for the Cigar Lounge, after creating the sprinklers that they wanted in the ceiling for the Cigar Lounge, after getting the tobacco license, after getting the alcohol license, after getting the 2 bars set up, after getting all of it permitted into a club, comedy club, that's being launched here soon. And so for those of you that are wanting to be members of the Cigar Lounge, the boardroom, there's already 61 members, okay? It's only 80 of them that we're talking about at the phase 1 that we're going through. And there's going to be an interesting guest showing up here soon to the Cigar Lounge, possibly for the grand opening. I can't tell you who that is, but there's a lot of speculation who that could be. You can figure it out, but it's only for those who are members of the club. So if you want to submit an application to be considered, I look at every single application that comes into my hand. Rob, if we can put the website to go to for it. What is the website for the Cigar Lounge, by the way? Do you know what it's called?
BoardroomCigarLounge.com.
BoardroomCigarLounge.com. BoardroomCigarLounge.com. Rob, if you can put the link in chat as well, and the comment section and description. Go to it, submit your applications. And for those of you guys that smoke cigars that maybe you want to come ready for it, once you are a member, 100 of these are available for you to purchase. This is Valuetainment Cigar Accessories. Rob, if you can go to this so they can see it as well. In this, when you open it up, you have the ashtray, the Valuetainment ashtray. You have the Valuetainment lighter, and you have the Valuetainment cutter, okay? $74.95. Go to the website, vtmerch.com, and we are looking forward to seeing you come there with your lighter and with your, cutter. So again, vtmerch.com to get that. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.